Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. And welcome to my YouTube channel. And I am sorry for the background here. Starlight is playing catch up today. Not ketchup and mustard, but playing catch up. So anyway, I love you all, and I hope you're getting out in nature like Starlight is. Plus, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you could give my videos a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't be afraid, don't be shy, swing by and say hi, Starlight, by leaving Starlight a comment down below. Beep, beep, beep. Plus, you could follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. And don't forget, you could share my videos with your family, your friends, a cat, a dog. And I just want to say a big, huge thank you to all of you who are here loving and supporting me. And that means, you know, that you're helping me out on my YouTube channel to reach other people by giving me a thumbs up, or subscribing to my YouTube channel, or even leaving me a message down below, or you even watch my videos. So thank you, all of you. And I keep on forgetting is I made a video but then I deleted it, is that Starlight is starting a new thing, and she's asking you if you have any pets. I don't care what kind of pet you have, but if you have a pet and you would like your pet on Starlight's YouTube channel, please don't hesitate. Make sure it's a good lighting. That is my, you know, it's got to be good lighting. You want to be able to see the pet really good, you know. So make sure the background lighting and all that stuff is excellent. Well, it doesn't have to be excellent, but it's got to be good enough so we can see your pet. And if you want to send me a picture of your pet and your pet's name, I would love to put your pet on my YouTube channel, my YouTube videos, you know, because I do this in almost every single video, is I put animals on my YouTube videos to because I'm an animal lover. And you know, so if you would love to have one of your pets as part of my YouTube channel, my YouTube videos, you could do that by reaching out like on that video and leave a little comment. Say, Starlight, I would love to, you don't have to say it this way, but I would love to have my pet on your videos. And just send that picture either on Facebook, which is Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman, or on Instagram at 1995 Starlight. So those are two ways that you can send me a picture, and I would gladly put your pet, I don't care what pet that you have, it just has to, the picture has to be good so we can see your beautiful pet. Starlight loves animals and people. So anyway, today's video is I got everything I wanted, but you know, there's lots of us, or you know, some of us throughout our time, you know, like I believe we all have done this, is that, you know, when you're younger, oh, I want that girl, oh, I want that man, I want to be with that man. How many of you have been there where you like, I want to be with that guy, I want to be with that girl, but why did you want to be with that girl or that guy? Well, Starlight, did you see her? Well, Starlight, he had a beautiful car. I loved his car, and I liked him. I liked him too, but he actually gave me a ride, and ever since I fell in love with him. So, or this is also can be not just about relationships, but you got what you wanted, but like a job. I've been guilty of that. I thought, wow, I can't believe it. Out of 100 people, they picked Starlight. I really freaking wanted that job. But I'll tell you what, it didn't take too long before I realized that was the biggest nightmare of a job. One of the biggest nightmare of a job that I had. So I got what I wanted. Maybe even got to go and live somewhere. I got what I wanted. You know, you checked, you needed a place to live, so you researched online or wherever you might have found like a an advertisement out in public somewhere where you called up the number and you're like, ah, and Starlight is quick when it comes to a job or, in a place to live. Bam. I mean, like, or, you gotta be, even if you want to look for a car or something online, or even relationships, right? You think, but no, that's not the case. You don't really want to be that quick. And I have to say, on this journey, when people see me in town and like, oh, she's here, this is what happens a lot is a lot of people want to be the first one to go out with that girl that just moved in town. So you got to be careful of this stuff. I got what I wanted, but what happened? Well, I did get that girl. She had an ass like you wouldn't believe. But yes, I wanted to show off that girl. She was so pretty. She was a knockout. And things did happen quick. I met her at a party. We both like to drink and smoke marijuana or, listen to the same kind of music. And before you know it, I got with her. And it was fun for a little bit. I was letting all my buddies and my friends, like, hey, I didn't even have to say anything. They're like, oh my, you're with her? How did you get her? Well, that didn't last long either, That didn't last long, my friends, they actually is like, why did you get with her? They were learning, I'm sorry, because this is the time here is, she's kind of snobby, She doesn't even want us to be with you anymore. You found out, like, hey, she had that, that curve. But there's a lot that came with that package, wasn't there? Yeah, you felt good for a period of time going out in public, with that girl and showing her off like a Hollywood model. But that didn't last too long, did it? Maybe it did. Maybe it took you a while to realize, wow, I thought maybe she was just having a bad day, but it ended up being every day was a bad day to her. And girls, how about that guy, I'm sorry, Starlight is going to be moving around here. I got what I wanted. I got the guy that, whoopsie, I wanted, but, he controlled everything. I was, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. He just wanted me to stay with him all the time. But I got what I wanted. So this is why it's so important to slow down, get to know, it's not about the outward appearance or anything like that. And it's about the inward, it's about the heart, it's about what's going on in their head. What do they, did you get to know them long enough, and what is your motive behind why you got with them? Be honest with yourself, because God knows, there's many times that we could fool everyone else and, look at these other qualities and say, this is why she's a smart girl. I got with her because she's smart, but really, she is smart, but she has a sexy body. And everybody sees that, where, it's, but there was other things that you didn't know, like she had a past, she had some trauma, and she was always breaking down, crying all the time. And but out in public, when I met her, she seemed okay. But after a while, when we moved in with each other, I couldn't get her to do any housework. I couldn't get her to do the dishes or even clean up after herself. I felt like a slave in that relationship. I was like, what did you get yourself into, right? You're like, because a lot of people are wearing a mask. You got tricked, you got deceived, but it's the motives behind, that's what you got to watch out with, is what were your motives? To show and tell? Because if that's your reason, you got lessons to learn. How about that house? A lot of times we move into a house. Like I just talked to a lady out here. She's not happy here. They have a house. So I was helping her out by, you got to find where you're happy. That's what it's about. It's, if you're living somewhere, and whether you bought the house, it's a lot of work, to buying a house and having a realtor go through the house and point out all the things that needs work on, and then decide on, do I really want to move in that house? Is it really worth it? And a lot of people, they think, hey, if I buy a house, we can put some work in it, and then later on, try to make more money out of it, So, but then you realize that you're a couple and you weren't being honest with each other about the house. You just went along, or if you bought a house on your own, where you gotta be real with yourself on, like, the place, that you bought, or the place that you rented. Listen to your intuition. It's so important. What is your intuition? Your intuition could be telling you stuff, and you might not be listening. See how this is? Might not be listening to your intuition. Your intuition is saying, no, don't go with him. No, don't go with her. And but you're not really paying attention to what your inner voice, your intuition is telling you and speaking to you about. I am so sorry. Starlight goes through moments like this. So, oops. So yeah, it's so important to make sure, your motives are right. I'm so sorry. What are your motives will really help you in life to make better decisions, and why you really want to go with that girl. Why do you really want to go with that guy? Is it because of his muscles or his body, or is it because of the job that he has? Is it because this happens to a lot of couples, is that you're like, wow, he's really sweet and kind, and but there's other things that you might not care about him, but you're like, maybe if I go with him, maybe I can, a lot of times this is what happens, is that people want to change people, to control them in a certain way, so, it works good for them, but then the other person's miserable. So you got to really ask yourself, what is the motive behind why you want to go with her? Is it because she's got the house and you have an apartment? Because this is the way society is. People, I made a video a while back is about helping women, is to be careful of not going with a man because he's got money. And I don't even know if any female even liked that video. It was a great message to help women out. It's not about what he owns. It's not about, his house, his car, and all that. And so, but this is the way society has gotten a lot of women to be. And the way society has gotten a lot of men to be is all women want their money. And so it's really bad. I'm sorry about that background noise there. So the way society is that a man's got to have money in order to keep a girl happy. And, a female is, I got to be beautiful, And if I'm not beautiful, no man is going to love me because I don't feel beautiful. And that is why it's so important to do the inward work. You know, it's so important to work on yourselves, learn how to love yourselves for who you are. And if they don't love you because you love yourself, then that man is not the one. And don't let that man or even that female, like if you love yourself but they don't love you, they're not the one. You know, don't chase those people that really don't love who you are. When you do, you love yourself. You're like, I accept myself, I love myself. And you find it hard to get relationships with men or women, you know, depending on what sex you are. And, you know, it is so important to do the inner work and find out who you are and, you know, what do you like, what do you don't like, and not to be in such a rush, you know, and make sure the motives are the right reasons. I want to be with this person because, you know, he's working on himself. He's actually, you know, like, he's not out at the bar room scene. He's not doing drugs. He's not, you know, out, you know, like partying with his friends. He does get together with his friends, but what do? They're actually going out for a hike together. They're actually, you know, going out and doing sports together, you know, where he's an active person. He loves himself. He's actually eating healthy. I want to get together with him because we're both on the same page. We're both working together and going in the same direction. And that goes with guys or girls. You don't want to go because, you know, to impress other people with the one that you got. You know, that's not, a lot of people, they'll go out and they will spend a lot of money on a truck or a house just to impress other people. Hey, look at the car I just bought. That might be good for, you know, some time. After a while, you know, nobody even notices anything about your car or the house anymore. And you're like, huh, everybody was excited when I first got the house and when I first got the car. And it means that, you know, this is when we really have to realize that we need to work on ourselves. You really need to love yourself and not to think by buying that expensive car or that house that you can't afford, it's going to mess everything up with your finances. And, you know, but you want to do it to show everybody else that, look at what I can afford, or even clothing and stuff like that. What is the reason why behind? Why do you buy those name brand clothes? Whoopsie, sorry about that. Why do you go to those expensive restaurants that cost how much a plate? I've gone out, I didn't pay for it. I've gone out to dinner, $50 for a plate of food. You know how much I could have put in my house for that much money for food? You know, but that's just one plate. And yeah, I might have had some leftovers to take home, but really, why would it cost $50 for just one plate of food? And that's all you did was go to a restaurant and eat one plate of food. Like I said, I didn't pay for that. That was somebody else paid for that. But you gotta, you know, you're not really impressing anyone. You know, nobody's really impressed like you think. And it's just a show. It's to make you feel good that you did it. Hey, yeah, we want to celebrate that you got this new car. And then, you know, now you got friends that you didn't have before. Because you got this beautiful car. Now you're picking up women that before they didn't want nothing to do with you, but now they want to get in your car. And now you think that, oh, hey, they like me. No, they don't. They like your car. You know? So Starlight loves, you know, cars. But that's not the reason why I'm going to love the man, is because of his car. But a lot of people, a lot of people do that. They're like, hey, I love your car. And, you know, so you got to really watch out is the motives behind why people want to be with you. What is sorry about this. What is the motive behind why you want to get with that girl? Well, Starlight, I told you, she's sexy. Well, that sexiness is only, that's temporarily. That's gonna only get you so far. What is she like when you wake up with her? What is she like in the house? Is she helping out, taking care of the things in the house, or, is she leaving it all to you? There are people out there that's like they got sugar daddies out there. They probably even have sugar mommies out there, where they love to spend money and all this stuff on people, and but are you being loved by these people? Are they loving that person? That's what you got to ask yourself. Do they love you for who you are, or do they love you for what you have, what you're willing to offer? Now, it's great to offer people things like, I'm working on myself. This is what I have to offer you. I am eating healthy. This is what I have to offer you. I am taking good care of my body. I care about myself. I care about myself where I'm not going in places that's going to drain my energy. I care about myself where I am mindful of the kind of people that I spend my time with. And you're like, and on top of that, put the cherry on top. Of course, it's got to be a cherry without no sugar. Is I have a relationship with God, is what I have to offer. That means that I am always going to be working on myself, because that's what I'm here to do, is to help other people out. And I am out here helping other people by giving them my time or my energy, or even when somebody needs help. That's a good way of knowing what kind of people that you're with. How do they treat people out in public? Like, I've seen this many times where there's a couple and Starlight's gone up and asked somebody, and this is how the universe does things. It will be a guy and a girl, and Starlight is not afraid. I will go right up to the guy and let him know, hey, I'm in this situation here. I just need some help with some gas money. And he's with a girl. He's got a beautiful car, and he doesn't want to help out. Now, I could ask somebody else the same question, a different guy, a different female, and he's happy to help out. And you know what? He didn't have to look at his girlfriend or wife and see what she thought. He just was willing to help Starlight out. And this is what God notices. So, are you with somebody that you want to help other people out, but the person that you're with doesn't want you to? They might not have the love of God like you do. They might not have that heart that is willing to help other people out. Whether you can do it or not, whether you think you can do it or not, you just have that willingness to help other people. But you're with somebody that, you want to help somebody and they discourage you from helping them. You're with the wrong one, if that's the case. They should be impressed with you and say, wow, that touched my heart that you helped that girl out, and I was here, but you didn't stop. It's because you were real about that. You didn't let somebody control you to help other people out. There's a lot of people that they want to control the one that they're with on what they decide to do. There might be a guy or a girl that's pulled over on the side of the road having car problems, and you're not working. You don't have anywhere to go. You know how to work on cars. You're really good working on cars. Are you that guy? Or maybe you're that guy or that girl that will pull over and hey, do you need any help? Maybe they just need a jump. Are you that guy that's going to pull over and, as long as it's, you feel safe and comfortable, and you go and you're not busy, it's not pulling you away from anything that you really had to do, and you're that type of guy? Girls have to be careful, but, as far as guys go, are you with that guy that can help out but doesn't? Or are you with that guy that can help out, has the tools, or lives nearby that he wants to help out because his heart is in it. Not saying that they always can help out anytime. There's times that you can't. You know, you could be going somewhere in the time and all that stuff. You can always pray for them and say, God, can you send somebody that way? And I've done this many times on this journey. There was a guy, I felt so sorry for him. He had a van, and his van broke down. Actually, it got to a O'Reilly auto shop place or whatever store, so his vehicle was working, and then he went and bought stuff at O'Reilly. I'm assuming that poor man. I felt sorry, not that he was poor. It's just that vehicle, his van, was there for like 4 days in the parking lot. It never moved, and he had to spend the night every night in that parking lot. I couldn't help him out, but I prayed. I was like, God, please send somebody out here to help this man out. I felt sorry. He was a young kid. He was really struggling every day. The people at O'Reilly, auto shop was really, that I know of, he stayed there. They didn't tow his car away. They let him, and one day I went by and I seen the van was not there anymore. And I was like, oh, angels, his vehicle got fixed. Thank you. And then the next couple days, I seen him driving it down the road. I was so happy for him. So you got what you wanted, but that's why it's so important. Figure this stuff out. Do things for the right reason. Don't do it, because you want to please other people and, impress other people with why because I'll tell you what, it only lasts so long, right? Yeah, now you got her, now you're living together in the same house, and you're like, oh shit, what did I get myself into? I got with her for the wrong reasons. I got with him for the wrong reason. I got with him because he had this beautiful car. I found out he's lazy. He doesn't clean up after himself in the house. He doesn't even flush the toilet. He leaves the seat up. He makes a mess. I clean things up. He doesn't even eat all of his food when we eat. He throws things away. All these, the list goes on, and you're like, I didn't know all these things, because you didn't take enough time. You didn't get with a person for the right reason. So what are your motives, and what are their motives for why they want to, ask them, why do you want to get with me? And see if it fits. Feel their energy. Let your intuition, sense, energy never lies. So if they say all these things and you're like, that doesn't really even fit me, why are they saying all this stuff? That's why they got with me, because they're not being honest with you. They're wearing a mask. So anyway, I love you so much. This is Starlight. You could give this video a thumbs up. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you can also share these videos with your family, your friends, a squirrel, and a little chipmunk. And you can also check out my playlist. Plus, you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that's Kathy with a K, doing with Starlight. I love you all. And so think twice before you get, in that new job, anything in life, really. What are your motives? Really, God knows what your motives is. That's why a lot of times, you'd be begging for something, and God's like, I see your motives. I see why you really want to go with you. You're telling your family all these other reasons. You're telling your friends all these other reasons, but I know your heart. I see your heart. You want her, there you go. You got her. You wanted him, there you go. Now you got a lesson to learn. So anyway, I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, peace.